What is the most valuable thing you can own? Is it a material possession, that luxury house, car, or motorcycle? Or is it an experience? What use is cool stuff if you have to work your life away to own it, or worse, if you're putting yourself into debt and financial difficulty? It's cool to own a CVO Ducati Street Fighter V4 or a top-spec BMW R1250 GSA, but these are toys, and if you're working so hard for them that you don't have time to ride, or worse, putting yourself into heavy debt to own the shiny top-of-the-line thing, your enjoyment of that thing will diminish. Why not buy something more affordable that will give you the same experience without a sizable monthly payment or the need to work extra hours to pay it off? Enter the sub 500cc motorcycle. All the fun at 1/3 the price. And no, that Ninja 400 won't give you the exact same experience as a Panigale V4, but it will give you a similar experience. It's up to you to decide if your ego will allow you to opt for the sensible choice, or if the razzing from your riding buddies will goad you into spending more than you can afford. Plus, if you're new to riding, a Panigale V4 is probably not a good idea. So in this video, we'll look at the best sub 500cc motorcycles for the street, adventure, dual sport, cruiser, scrambler, and used category. Note, I'll give the prices of these bikes in US dollars as they vary based on nation. You can look up prices in your own currency at your local dealer's website. So which are the top choices in each category in 2023 and what are their features? Stay tuned, and if you find this content valuable, please consider subscribing and liking and sharing this video. For street bikes under 500cc, you can't beat Kawasaki. The Ninja 400 Sport Bike and Z400 Naked both have about 47 horsepower and 28 pound-feet of torque and are plenty sporty motorcycles for almost all your pavement riding needs. They cost between $5,000 and $5,300 MSRP and deliver peppy performance and light weight. The power is enough for fast highway cruising or a quick pass on a 2-lane, and the handling is good enough for a track day. Both Yamaha and KTM also offer good options in this class, but the 2-cylinder Kawasaki motor's extra power and torque just edges out the competition. No, you won't keep up in a straight line with a 650cc bike, but in the curves these are great, and there are no roads that I've ridden that have a speed limit these two bikes can't greatly exceed. The adventure bike segment is super popular right now because these motorcycles are extremely good all-arounders. You can cruise on them, ride sporty in the twisties, long distance tour, and even do some off-roading, although some are better at this than others. Perhaps the best all-around motorcycle in this category is the Honda CB500X, which has a 471cc parallel twin engine churning out about 47 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque. That's plenty for just about any situation you will find yourself in at legal-ish speeds. Although it has a modest MSRP of $7,200 US dollars, it can keep up with your friend's pricey 1000+ cc adventure bikes in all but the craziest balls-to-the-wall situations, which rarely arise. The bike is decent off-road, but if you're looking for the most capable ADV off-roader, Honda will sell you the CRF 300L Rally, which is essentially a dual sport which can do some pretty rough trails. My wife owns this bike and we have an extensive playlist on it. Check that out in the top right corner. Speaking of dual sports, these bikes are awesome for various reasons. They can do the pavement thing while also retaining some serious off-road ability. While the KTM 500 EXC is actually 510cc, KTM also makes an awesome 350. But at over 12,000 USD and a very tall seat, this bike is skewed toward the expert rider. For less than half that price, $5,800 US, Kawasaki will sell you the KLX 300, which does way more and doesn't have all that trick gear nor nearly as much power. However, the seat height is more friendly, the service intervals are less intimidating, the 292cc single trucks along nicely on its 26 horsepower and 18 pound-feet of torque, which is plenty for off-road shenanigans as well as 120 km/h on the highway. I took a pretty long ride on this bike and it wasn't at all bad. With a larger tank and improved wind protection, it would make a decent adventure bike. At around 300 pounds wet and sporting surprisingly capable and adjustable suspension, this bike is your dual sport fix. However, it's not available everywhere, so the Honda CRF 300L is an excellent second choice. In the cruiser world, the idea of a sub 500cc motorcycle seems strange, as the general consensus among the cruiser crowd is the bigger the better. Yes, big pistons are the thing here, and as a former owner of a couple of big V-twins, I can attest that nothing quite gives you the same feeling as surfing on a wave of lumpy, slow revving torque. However, you don't have to be a gym bro or sell a kidney to join the cruiser crowd, as there are a couple of great sub 500cc options. The first is the Honda Rebel 500, which is built around the same 47 horsepower 471cc parallel twin that powers the aforementioned CB500X adventure bike, as well as a few other models. More on that later. The engine is plenty peppy and does a great job of pushing the $6,500 to $7,000 cruiser to highway speeds and beyond. Additionally, this motorcycle's lightweight, just 414 pounds wet, makes it a blast in the bends. No, you won't keep up with the big twins when they crack open their throttles in the straights, but you'll reel them in and leave them behind when the road gets seriously curvy. Being a 6-footer, I found the seating position a bit cramped, but Honda does sell highway pegs which allow you to stretch out. If you're looking for something a bit more traditional looking and even more reasonably priced, the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 is a stylish cruiser with a puny $4,700 MSRP. It only has 20 horsepower and 20 pound-feet of torque, but that's enough on most roads, and just enough to get up to highway speeds. You only need a bigger engine if you're going to spend a lot of time above 100 km per hour. The Scrambler is a style of motorcycle that has made a comeback in the last decade or so, but until this year, Scramblers from brands like Ducati and Triumph have tended to be big, powerful, and expensive. However, this year it so happens that two major manufacturers have come to market with reasonably priced sub 500cc Scramblers. The first was Royal Enfield with its 411 Scram, a bike based on the Himalayan adventure bike. This bike is quite similar to its adventure sibling, but deletes the windshield and big steel tank guards and swaps the 21-inch front wheel for a 19-incher. Being based on a pretty capable off-roader makes this Scrambler the better choice for the dirt, and if your scrambling experience is going to involve anything more gnarly than gravel or a smooth dirt road, this is the bike for you. At a mere $5,100 MSRP, it's also the most affordable, although its 20 horsepower and 24 pound-feet of torque won't set any land speed records. For between $7,200 and $7,500 US, Honda will sell you the CL500, which is loosely based on the already mentioned Rebel 500 and is powered by, you guessed it, Honda's 471cc parallel twin. With 47 horsepower, this bike will be a lot quicker than the 411 Scram, but being based on a cruiser and having limited suspension travel and ground clearance, any delusions of playing Ricky Carmichael in this thing should be forgotten. Keep to the pavement, gravel, and well-groomed dirt roads on this one. Now, if you want a motorcycle that looks classic and will turn some heads, the Royal Enfield Classic 350, which shares its powertrain with the aforementioned Meteor 350 cruiser, looks suitably retro cool, being barely distinguishable from motorcycles that thumped around the British countryside since the 1930s. The Classic isn't fast, but costs only $4.5K US and is a proper metal and bolts motorcycle. Finally, if you're looking for used motorcycles, the champion of the used market is the Ninja 250, which you can get for $2,000 or less, often far less. These parallel twins have enough power to do highway speeds and also come in the newer 300cc bikes as well. For more of a cruiser experience, the old Rebel 250 has been the go-to first cruiser for countless riders. For those wanting more power, the Kawasaki Ninja 500 and Vulcan 500 give you 50 horses and very peppy performance out of the old parallel twin they share, and can also be had for a song. Ultimately, the message of this video is that you don't need huge bikes with huge power and huge price tags to get yourself out in the wind. It's not what you ride, but the memories you create that truly matter. And if that's a memory of your camping trip on your old Rebel 250, cool. What a story. So which sub 500cc bike appeals to you? Or do you have a story of one that you loved or love currently? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember, the best bike is the one you're riding.